No work today, not for you, not for anyone. She didn't mind work. It gave her a sense of purpose, and at least she didn't have to worry about a decent meal and queuing for hours for a pound of tea and some canned meat. Her feet might ache at the end of the day, but her stomach didn't rumble. The man heaved himself to his feet. "Ladies and gents, this here young lady's worried about missing work. Do we think she should go?" A resounding roar filled the bus, and she was snatched from her seat and swirled around, landing on the lap of an American with big white teeth and a smile to match. "No work for you today, doll, and I'll be taking on anyone who tries to tell you otherwise." That was something she'd like to see. This man might be all big and brash, but Mrs. Black would make mincemeat of him, then slap him between two pieces of pastry. The bus lurched around the corner and trundled off, but didn't get far. A procession of cheering civilians and fighting men, all decked out with flags, filled the mall, bent on reaching the gates of Buckingham Palace, every one of them shouting, "We want the king! We want the king!" The American grabbed her hand. "Come on, we're not missing this." They jumped off the bus and joined the throng, pushing forward as though their lives depended on it. They didn't have to wait long. A thunderous cheer echoed, and the king, all dressed up in a posh uniform with enough gold braid to rival the crown jewels, appeared on the palace balcony. The Yank's eyes glowed in awe. "Is that the Queen next to him?" "She's the one in the dreadful hat, and that's her daughter, Princess Mary. I'm not sure who—" Fleur clamped her mouth closed as an all-encompassing hush descended on the crowd. So quiet, even the Queen up there on the balcony could have heard her. The king stepped forward, and she craned to hear his words. "With you I rejoice and thank God for the victories which the Allied arms have won, bringing hostilities to an end and peace within sight." And that was all. The Queen waved a Union Jack, and a massive roar rocked the air, the force of it shaking the ground. Somewhere behind her, a band struck up, and she found herself yelling, not singing, no one could call it singing, "God Save the King," Tipperary, the Old Hundredth. With her heart fit to burst, she sucked in enough air to join in Auld Lang Syne. Then the king waved his hat to the crowd and trooped off with all the other toffs. 4 years, 14 weeks, and 2 days of hell. And it was over. Just like that. Not long now, my love. Several hours later, Fleur floated home dizzy with delight, with bubbles of happiness fighting for space in her chest. "I'll take you home. As soon as it's over, I'll take you home." She was going to Australia with Hugh. Soon, so soon. By the time she'd reached King's Cross, rain had seeped under her collar and trickled down the back of her blouse, but nothing could dampen her euphoria. Not even the familiar stench of stale sweat and old cabbage that greeted her when she threw open the front door. She could cope with anything. All she had to do was wait for Hugh. She tripped up the stairs and slipped her key into the lock and went straight across the room to fling open the window. So much had changed since she'd stood at Waterloo Station, waving a soggy handkerchief, watching the train pull out, taking Hugh away, and leaving her with nothing but dreams and a carefully folded marriage certificate in her pocket, convinced she'd never see an end to the war. Now hundreds of bonfires had consumed the blackout, and the acrid smell of the fireworks dispersed more than the stench of her room. Her fear, too, was gone. A group of crazy Tommies called up a greeting as they staggered down the street, brandishing trophies and souvenirs from different uniforms. Hugh always looked so smart. Slouch hat turned up at the side, puttees and a belt always worn. Not like these dishevelled revellers bundling their friends into flag-strewn motor cars. She grinned down at them and waved as they disappeared into the clamouring crowd, amidst a flurry of bunting and shaking rattles. There was no need to waste her money on lighting tonight. The glow from the streets and the joy in her heart could illuminate the whole of London. The bloody slog was over. With a delicious yawn, she collapsed onto the bed and pulled off her shoes, wriggling her toes in relief, tasting the remnants of brandy from the hip flask the American kept pressing on her. Rummaging in